Hello and welcome back to ARAH, the G.I. Joe Real American Hero Costume Club YouTube channel. I am your host and founder, Wild Bill Hardy. In this video series, we are doing Article 8, that is merchandising and promotional standards. Okay, and I can tell you right now, there is so much involved in this section. This is definitely going to be multiple videos. This section includes swag rules, team website creation. I don't know why I didn't put that in elsewhere, but it seemed like it was relevant here, I suppose. Fundraisers, accepting donations, which we've already kind of talked about in the last section, last article. Promotional standards, vendor guidelines and responsibilities, and recasting. And vendor blacklists. And then after that, it would be Article 9, disciplinary action. And then that's the end of the charter. So we're almost there. We're almost to the end. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for putting up with me thus far. Still have yet to have a whole lot of in the way of comments, but then again, this is something new and not everyone has jumped on it. But anything discussed, comment section below. Please comment and I'll gladly address whatever issues you have. If you have comments, questions, concerns, please lay them on me. Okay. So I'm going to do this introductional blurb. We'll go through some swag rules and probably team website creation in this video, okay? So this section is devoted to educating both club members and the public about what is involved with dealing with intellectual property that is not our own. Because Hasbro Inc. owns all G.I. Joe intellectual property, the G.I. Joe Real American Hero Costume Club has to have very strict guidelines in order to remain in existence. The regulations relating to merchandising and promotions is meant to protect the intellectual property as well as this club. The following rules shall apply and may not be deviated from in any way. Okay. Also, I want to point this out that I didn't create this charter all on my own. I actually used the charters of the 501st Costume Club, the Rebel Legion Costume Club, the Mandalorian Mercs Costume Club, because I was affiliated with Star Wars clubs at that time. One of the things that I did was I took everything that I liked in their charters, kept it. Everything I didn't like about their charters, I rejected. Case in point, the blurb about recasting, right? Lucasfilm actually told Rebel Legion they could not have a recasting clause in their charter because that meant that there were unlicensed vendors selling wares that utilizes their intellectual property, and that would require them to go take a really good look at those people, and they just wanted to turn a blind eye. Okay, well, I didn't like that because I don't like recasters, and I don't like what recasters do, and I'll explain that in that video. But I also want to point out that those charters that are in the 501st Rebel Legion, Mandalorian Mercs, the Dark Empire, the Jedi Assembly. There's all kinds of clubs out there, even Starfleet International. Basically, what I'm getting at is that all of their charters, all these groups that I've mentioned, their charters are basically the legal agreements they have with the franchise and intellectual property owners, right? So, to be honest, I never asked permission of Hasbro to start ARAH. I started ARAH because when I was a member of that other club, Our sister club, screw it. It was Cobra's Finest, who is now rebranded as The Finest, right? I only started ARAH because they were Cobra only at the time. And they had a member who said, I would like to have a Cobra's Finest patch. Well, you have to be a Cobra. I mean, you're a Joe, and we let you play with us, but you're not really one of us. Now, if that ruffles any feathers, I apologize. That it was in the past. Yes, it was, but it's the truth. I mean, it is. That's how this club got started, right? And there's no shame in that. I'm not shaming anyone. I'm not blaming anyone. It was that policy is what got this club created, And then when I asked, well, what's it going to take for a Joe Club to be created? The founder had simply said, someone just has to do it. I took it upon myself to do it. 6 weeks later, I did it. I rolled out, I combed through the charters of the big three Star Wars clubs at the time and went through their charters. And this is how our charter is set up. Our charter is set up, I just talked about not being a copycat, but I mean, essentially, I guess it's what I did, is that I took their blueprint, right? I took their blueprint and I utilized it. Why? Because the 501st has been in existence since the late 90s. Now that's got to tell you something, right? Their system works. Regardless of how I feel about the Star Wars franchise now or the fan base now, Albin Johnson is a very good friend of mine. I love the guy dearly. I have nothing but mad respect for him. He created something, and it's still around to this day. It works. The methodology works. The blueprint works. So I used it. As such, I also followed suit with what they did. Again, their merchandising and promotional standards are basically on par the same as here, right? I copied those standards because those are the legal agreements that they have with Lucasfilm, now Disney. I don't want Hasbro to ever shut us down, right? And I figure, Hasbro, please. I figure that with these policies in place, this should be enough to satisfy any kind of legal agreements that we should have with them. And that is, we promise that we are not going to make money off of their intellectual property. We're not going to capitalize on it in any way, shape, or form. And that's essentially what these rules are going into. If you have a problem with any of these rules, we can discuss it. But at the end of the day, these specific rules are not going to change. They're not going to change because that is my commitment, my promise to the intellectual property owners that we are not going to capitalize on their name. We're not going to capitalize on their intellectual property. And it's how we stay in existence. They can pull the plug on us at any time. They can give us a cease and desist, and that's it. Club is shut down permanently. Which is one of the reasons why we kind of avoided doing Paramount stuff, because back in 2009 that they were kind of being like that. They were going to San Diego Comic-Con, they were giving out cease and desist orders to people that were wearing their licensed costumes at Comic-Con. And my understanding is that Hasbro finally told them to knock it off and to back off unless they didn't, because it's like, if you're going to continue this practice, again, this is my understanding, this is what I've heard, you're going to continue this practice, then, we're just not going to cover your toy line. And that will pretty much kill any of your movie projects. So, so we absolutely have to play ball in this regard. So, that is paramount. I mean, that not, let me rephrase that. We have to do this. All right. Paramount meaning that it is absolutely imperative that we follow these standards so that we don't, it's one thing to follow the code of conduct. Yes, you have to do that. But these other standards, they're also, it's the law, and we have to follow that. So we're getting on here. So we're just going to consider this an introduction to merchandising and promotional standards. Next video, I'm going to start with swag rules. Okay. Comments, questions, concerns, drop them down in that comment section, please, and I will address them and we'll have a discussion. I look forward to having discussions with everybody. So please and thank you. But as always, Yojo, Cobra, knowing is half the battle, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.